Welcome to the OMG Tarot podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today I have a special treat for you. I recently sat down with the Lunar Chicks, Tiff, Kelly, and Kryssy, the owners of Lunar Faire. We had a really awesome conversation about the fair, their goals for it, what inspired them to create the fair, and just their experiences with tarot and the witchy mystical world. For those who don't know, Lunar Faire is an awesome night market that occurs every 2 weeks from the springtime through the end of October, mostly in New Jersey. It's super fun. There's vendors, there's entertainment. It's just a really awesome place for the community to get together, and I vend at it. So, if you want a reading with me or any of the other totally awesome readers that hang out there and to check out cool handmade stuff made by vendors from all over the tri-state area, come to Lunar Faire. The first one for 2025 is going to be on Sunday, April 27th. And keep listening because later on in this episode, I'm going to drop a promo code that'll get you 15% off your admission. So without further ado, here it is. Today, I'm sitting down with the Lunar Chicks. So,
hello.
Hi. So they are the heads of Lunar Faire, which if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably been to, or if not, you've certainly seen on my socials. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yes. Hello. I'm Tiff. I'm one of the Lunar Chicks.
I'm Kryssy, and I'm also a Lunar Chick. I'm Kelly, and I guess it goes without saying I'm also a Lunar Chick.
I guess I could have said more about myself there. We run a night market in North Jersey.
And sometimes South Jersey.
There
is no Central.
Oh, wow.
That's joke.
Just going right for it.
Yeah, right to the controversial Central Jersey doesn't exist.
Not all of us feel that way, but most of us do. I was born in North Jersey, and because fans in New Jersey are savage everywhere, we've been able to move throughout New Jersey. It really just started off as a tiny little market. We were just like, let's throw some vendors in a parking lot and see where that goes. And it was kind of a hit right away. So 5 years later, we are running a little night market that gets booted out of town sometimes because it got so big, and we're very grateful for that so far. That's kind of the overview, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, and I've been vending at Lunar Faire since 2021. So that's how we know each other.
Yeah, right in the beginning. One of the first one. Wait, were you on the beach? Or
So I was not on the beach as a vendor. I was there as an attendee.
Oh, awesome.
And I guess now that years have elapsed, I can share the story. So as you know, in the beach town, the parking was crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember
that was Oakland.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, and that was June of 2021, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, and so I'd seen you guys on social media, and my friend Alyssa, Whiskey in a Teacup Tarot.
Yes.
So
Where's she
Alyssa?
Yeah.
I miss you. Well, she's been in Delaware, and
She's
she
lawyering.
graduated law school.
Yeah.
She's living her best lawyer life.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
We'll tell her we said hi.
I will. So, yeah, we talk all the time. But basically, she was vending there, and I was in town for some other reason. I don't even remember why, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll go and check out what this Lunar Faire thing is about. So I pulled up, and it was the vendors were setting up, and parking was already like up the block and into the neighborhoods, and I was like, what's going on? This is but yeah, confession, I actually walked through and didn't pay to get in.
Well, I don't think we had to pay at the first one. It was optional.
It was
optional because we were
not
hoping
for $5 donation.
Yeah, we weren't sure if anyone wanted to come to the fair and
if they'd like us or not.
Yeah. So it was optional at that point. So
thanks for not donating.
Yes, thanks for nothing, Lindsay.
Oh no, am I kicked out forever? But I walked around, had fun, and then was like, wow, this is really cool. I would vend here if they didn't already have tarot card readers. Oh well. And then by August, Alyssa was like, no, it's okay, you can apply. And then
you made it.
So
yeah. So your first one was at Camp Sac. I'm guessing.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah. How was that vendor parking?
It was an adventure. Driving on those little footpaths late at night that were just lit by candles on the side.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy.
We didn't give you much option there.
Yeah.
It was like the That was crazy. It was definitely haunted. I felt like vendor parking.
Yes.
When we had the fairs at Camp Sac, I would always like drive anyone I would see walking like in my golf cart because I felt so bad for the vendors, like that they're going to disappear into the woods to never be heard of again. But everyone made it to their cars. But it was definitely crazy, like a big walk and a lot of energy at Camp Sac, I felt like.
I feel like I had no idea where vendor parking was. And like it took me till the second time because I was just like, I don't deal with that. And then the second time Kenny drove me down in the golf cart, I'm like, this is where they had to go. I was like, well, why did we do this?
Just for some context, Camp Sac is a large campground in Sparta, and it was a really beautiful place. It was the third venue we ever did. We were still like finding our footing. We got kicked out of Oakland Beach because we had too high of attendee population. We got kicked out of Pompton Lakes because we had too high attendee population. And Camp Sac kind of reached out to us at the same time as we reached out to them. And there was a lot of whispers in the community, like, try this venue. So we kind of met each other, and it was a big sprawling campground, but there was a ton of trees and small fields throughout this like massive property. So there were only a few areas that we could actually use, and a lot of like wooden trails between them. So
which was really cute.
It was so cute.
It was
Everybody
very
loved it.
whimsical. Very
To
whimsical.
this day, I feel like it's like the most expansive, like that is the most difficult venue that we've had to like plan and plot. And that was only like our third, or fourth film
I mean,
that
we were
ended up doing there.
We were sweating.
Yeah.
Very
Like I feel like if we walked into Camp Sac now, having the experience that we have, it would be, different and easier and not as like, it was definitely crazy and just like so much going on. And then, we eventually ended up getting kicked out because there were so many people. I mean, it's not that we do anything wrong, just,
you guys like us.
residential
Like us so
people
much.
don't want traffic.
Yeah.
Especially when it's every 2-week traffic. It's
Yeah.
not like they still do the Ren Fair up at Camp Sac, and that's like 3 weekends per month. So people
more spread out.
Yeah, deal with that bullshit. But when it came to the fair, when it was every 2 weeks,
The mayor's like, fine,
yeah.
I'll deal with that traffic. Not yours.
yeah, they're like, go to Sussex County Fairgrounds. We don't care. Get the fuck out of
Wow,
Camp
yeah.
Sac. No one wants you to clog this road up anymore.
So the one field that we decided to designate vendor parking was so far away down this small trail that you could barely fit a golf cart down. And we're just like, sorry, this is just what we're doing to you. Like, you're just gonna have to take it.
We like, it was really for lack of other choice. Like at that point, we weren't really sure about how to get into other venues, and it was like all very long processes, and we just wanted to, we needed a venue like right then because we had the momentum going.
We posted all the
missed-
dates.
Yeah.
We're like, guess we better find venues before these dates come.
Well, and then we ended up missing the second moon in July because that's when we got canceled from Elks.
Pompton Lakes
in
cops
Pompton
wouldn't let
Lakes.
us.
We were like planning up until the day before for that.
And
Just
they were like,
calling
no.
townships, calling fields, like, and it was like the night before we're like, I guess we have to call this. Like, we're trying really hard.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, because at that first one in July 2021 in Pompton Lakes, is someone put a TikTok out, and it just, everyone happened to see it, and that's, just like went viral.
Fleetwood to New Jersey. It was like, oh, we're going.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
So, and that's when Pompton Lakes was like, no, you're not coming here.
Yeah, Camp Sac was, I loved it. I thought it was such a beautiful venue, and vendor parking was far, but I kind of just assumed that was
dealt
far. Yeah, I just dealt because I was like,
Yeah.
honestly, at the time, like getting into Lunar Faire kind of felt like getting into like the major leagues of tarot card reading. I know that sounds silly, but like previously I'd been reading it like every like VFW parking lot and Elks Club and like little like pop up, because remember it was post pandemic, so there was like a million pop ups everywhere. So it was,
Everyone was like, just be outside.
Just get out. Get out.
Just put a stand next to somebody.
Yeah.
Breathe their air.
Like, maybe
Less than
5
6
feet away.
yeah.
Even 4.
I'd have to say Camp Sack was my favorite though. Literally every field, it was like 4 or 5 different fields, and each one was like different theme and different whimsy. It was
I
just,
know.
like it was like a magical
I know.
like place.
So that was August, September. I mean, and then that first year we did winter shows like Maniacs.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was so cold.
It was so cold. Oh, it hurt my toes. I'm like a little
They were
bitch
cute
baby
though.
when it
I
comes
really
to
liked how like the dark happened before we even opened. That was really cute.
Yeah, but
fun.
we also got like frostbite and
Yeah.
pneumonia. And
Well, you know, good and bad.
That cold fair at the Buffalo Farm was what
Oh,
made
that's
me.
exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
yeah.
I went to Costco and bought a giant box rather of those hand warmers like the day after because I thought I dressed for the weather and it was like
Just
no,
kidding. No.
because you were just sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm sure if
Yeah.
I'd been moving,
Yeah.
but just sitting in that booth, there came a point where someone wanted a tarot card reading, and instead of money, I was like, "Go over to the vendor, get me a cup of tea, and that'll be." Like, I don't even care what the cost of a tarot card reading versus
Yeah.
tea is. Like, you're gonna pay me in
It's
tea.
amazing.
Something warm.
Yeah.
A warm hug. I don't care. I'll take it. Yeah, that would the Buffalo Farm was crazy. That was definitely the coldest. Like I will choose to be. I just don't do good with cold weather. So I never am in the cold unless even as a kid I'm like fuck sledding. I don't care. I don't care about snow. I don't want to build a snowman. Leave me alone. And then they're like, yeah, let's stand outside when it feels like 15 degrees and between 5 and 10. I'm like, okay. And then
Not even. We were there like 10 a.m. to like 2
Oh,
a.m.
yeah, I
That was
know.
when our
Yeah.
like pack up was long. It was just a long, cold
it was
day.
crazy.
So, what inspired you to create Lunar Faire?
Well, so I'm a tarot reader. I used to do readings like I started on Instagram and I did like I built like a little bit of a following through there and like saw like this like idea of an outdoor market. I was like, that'd be really cool to read cards at like a night market. And I was like, there's nothing around here like that. And like, so I was trying to get my mom to do it and she wouldn't. And so I dragged these bitches around and I was like, come on, let's just fucking do some bullshit. Let's see if it works. And they're like, all right, dude, whatever, let's do it. And it worked. Here we are.
Did it have the same name from inception, or did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's
Yeah.
always Lunar Faire.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely started off slow. I was working, doing like admin stuff in a doctor's office, like 34 hours a week. And I have a husband and a gaggle of kids. And I was doing a Lunar Faire, and I'm like, one of these things has to go. I'm attached to the kids. I love the fair. So then I would say, August, like right around Camp Sack time, that's when I was able to quit my job at the doctor's office and just work for the fair, which was great.
That sounds slow to you.
It sounds slow to me.
Yeah. I feel like that's fast. I feel like this grew fast.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, no, like it definitely when like I feel like there's like a few key points when the fair like got bigger and expanded, and in those moments it seemed like crazy. It just was like so fast, like especially going from being able to be in a place like Elks or Pompton Lakes to going to Camp Sack, like that expansion there, that was like huge. That was like a big point in the fair. And
Yeah.
but yeah. And then it was always Lunar Faire. Like we always pretty much were like doing it 2 times a month. We had different ideas. We started with, the potions lab that Kryssy runs, and like we didn't have, food trucks at the first one, but the potions
we did.
was
Hi,
small.
Michael.
Oh, we had one person like make
Since you're
rainbow.
confessing,
Jeez.
we can now confess we got no health permits.
Yeah, we
didn't know.
We didn't know
Make
what
grilled
we were
cheese.
doing.
Yeah.
We just basically made up stuff in the beginning, but then as we got bigger and also once the community starts to see you and see that you have money, that's when they're like with their hands out, don't forget my permit, don't like you have to pay for this, you have to buy traffic control. So once that you become something that people can really see from the outside, then that's when everyone forces you to be paying for stuff, because that's all they They all want your money, basically.
Yeah, just a note for all the haters and people who want to run a little market out there, which there's tons popping up now, like in our wake. But whatever you got quoted, I promise you we're paying triple.
Yeah.
Whatever you're paying for a venue, they're charging us like wedding prices.
Yeah.
So I think right about now is a good time to share that promo code with you. To get 15% off your ticket to the season opener of Lunar Faire this year, head over to lunarfaire.com. That's LUNARFAIRE.com and use the promo code LUNAR01 at checkout. The first fair is going to be at East Freehold Fairgrounds in Freehold, New Jersey. See you there. Are there approximately the same number of vendors per show, or does that
Actually, Jungle Habitat is the smallest that we let in. Do we want to say how much that is? How many vendors go? I mean, I guess they could walk up and down and count if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, let's say that hovers more the lower end. We have anywhere from 150 to 200 vendors per show, and Jungle Habitat
Sometimes 250, but
yeah, like but
like
that
really depends.
Yeah, on the venue, on the show.
Yeah.
The biggest in terms of like people actually showing up, so the biggest in terms of vendors would be, I feel like Freehold. Even
Freehold, we could
Gloucester,
put unlimited vendors.
Yeah,
and
Gloucester County, we could kind of, if we
Gloucester's
arranged it,
yeah,
we could definitely put more
it's getting a
vendors
little
in
cramped
there.
there just because of we can really only use half unless we expanded that out.
Yeah,
But Freehold is kind of unlimited.
I'm trying to think of
We
what else.
won't put unlimited vendors. It's so funny because it's such an interesting argument about how many vendors we should have. The vendors who can't get in are like, you guys fucking suck. I obviously see there's space here for me. And it's like, all right, well, it's going to throw off the ratios. Everyone else who isn't you is going to be very angry with us. No one's going to make any money. So
That's
we
the
definitely
thing,
limit
is
our
that,
vendors intentionally.
There has to be like a balance between the amount of people showing up and the amount of vendors we have, because you can't have 100 people and 100 vendors. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel for me and like for them too, like we definitely, one of the main things we worry about is like how many people are coming versus, how many vendors. We don't ever want the vendors to have a bad show. So for, I feel like that's kind of like the top of the list of things we consider when we're setting everything up, because, I mean.
And we've been like mostly them, but we've been vetting a lot of new vendors too. So we're trying to bring a little change to the selection. I think it'll be cool. We've got some cool new stuff coming in.
The fair is crazy. It's like its own, like has its own like personality.
Yeah,
but
it's its own being.
Yeah, we always talk about her like she's like a living thing, because she is. But I think we're like shifting some of the dates, so we're kind of trying to be more on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday end of it, and I think that's going to encourage more people to come. We are actually always trying to, consider what we're doing, over the winter. But I feel like once like the season goes, we're pretty much just like nonstop, like until the season ends.
We needed a break.
Yeah. So by the time that like Halloween weekend's over, which is like the biggest fair of the whole year, then we're like, oh, what's the next thing we're going to do? Okay, let's
just
see
sleep for a week and a half.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh.
Yeah.
This is the first year we took like a very long break. So
well, we did it. I mean, we do the boxes.
Yeah. No, I know. I think we needed it. I mean, whether we do that again, we'll see. But we definitely needed
something.
I mean, it was 4 years of grind. So
yeah. I mean,
we feel.
Also,
I feel rested.
I feel like we had a lot of venue searching again to do. Like there was more up in the air. So like when we don't have a date or a venue, it's just like constant. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? We have to go like travel right now.
I mean, and I also feel like it's okay to have a little bit of space between us and like the public, right? Because I like the feeling of like Lunar Faire is like, a season that happens, and then it's Lunar Faire time, and it's like more magical, like the whole like if you don't leave, I can't miss you kind of thing. Like it's nice for us to kind of like lurk in the shadows, and then people, when we come back, they're like, oh yeah, these bitches, we love them, so. I feel that it kind of works
some
out for us for
hibernating.
sure. Yeah. It's crazy because what happens with the fair is that you have a certain amount of people who always will prepay for their tickets and will buy beforehand. And then there's people who kind of waiting to see what's going on. And we'll buy tickets a day of. And as much as we try to plan for staffing, like, parking in particular is something where the, staffing, is either a bunch more or a bunch less, depending on who's coming. But sometimes in the last day or two, it's just like, oh my God, now there's 2,000 more people coming than we thought. And then that's kind of where we ended up in. That's how we end up in the parking lot sometimes.
Yeah.
We kind of just go wherever we need to go. I was actually telling someone, because I think one of my favorite is Horseshoe in Bud Lake, in Roxbury or whatever.
I
Horseshoe
haven't
Lake.
been there yet, but I
Oh
plan on going.
my God.
Gotta
It
go.
is my favorite.
It's adorable.
There's like a lake, a beach. It's a big field. There's trees. It's very cute. My husband's client came in and was like talking to me, and she's like, my daughter went to Lunar Faire, and I was like, I know the girl. And so we were talking about it, and I was like, that's one where I was just like in torrential downpour, thunderstorm, lightning, middle of the road, and just directing people. Like, just my neighbors came to that one, and they were like, I didn't even recognize you because I was just like drenched in like a black dress in the middle of the street, like this very busy street. And it's
Looking like a
so
prom
funny.
queen.
Yeah, literally, I was just like Carrie, but like without the blood. Like I was just like crying. Like it was so insane, but it was so fun. Like those are the fun
was
memories.
fun.
You
We
just
were
hop
like-
on wherever you gotta go.
Yeah.
They also didn't tell us like where to park. So
No.
to like find these.
Kryssy and we just like found this road. We're like, yep, everyone's parking here. We parked like, I don't know, 40 cars down that road, and they're like, you
have
shouldn't
to
park
stop now.
anyone here.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Call us next time, bro.
you told me 40 cars ago, dude. Sorry.
And then there was like a magical school right down the street where the entrance was there, and Kenny's like, there's like over 500 spots
Oh
here.
my
I'm like,
God.
what? Why would that not be the first thing they tell us?
Well, like there are many times when we do a new venue, we are very, underestimated.
That's what I was gonna say.
We will literally say we have, 3,000 people coming, and they're like, oh, yeah.
We're like, sure. Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Sounds
see.
like fun, little ladies.
Got people numbers.
Yeah.
Do you know
Every single
counting?
time.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, sir, what's math? But then, after all these people show up and they're like, oh, yeah, like, so Horseshoe in particular was one where the grounds person who worked for the town was basically like, oh, yeah, right, you're going to have 3,000 people here. I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. So even though they had this overflow parking lot, no one bothered to tell us about it because the expectation was not that we were going to fill the main parking lot and then need more parking.
And then some.
Right. So,
But the grounds people at the end of the fair were like, this was awesome. Even with a torrential downpour, you still got a ton of people. This was a cool event. We hope you come back. Like,
yeah.
It was.
Yeah, they were
They
super
always say that,
cool.
though.
Right, right. I mean,
He got cool with us right after we kind of
we had
schooled
the
him a
same
little.
problem with Freehold.
We got little lady, but we usually
always
get
get
little
little
lady
lady.
before the first fair on their grounds, and
Yeah.
like that time was really funny at Horseshoe because he kept coming up to me more like probably 2 or 3 times, and Scott was there and he was just laughing by the 3rd time, but like he was just like, I really need to get an accurate count. And I was like, look, this is what our projected numbers are. This is what we believe is happening. And it was about twice what he said. He's like, I'm going to tell him this number. I was just like, I don't think you should.
Right, yeah,
We made a really good feeling
that's
about how
incorrect.
many people were coming. And he's like, I don't want you to embarrass me. I'm going to tell him this number. And I was like, you're going to be embarrassed for all the wrong reasons, bro. Like,
Don't worry,
and
we won't
he came
embarrass
up to me
you.
later, and it was
You
just
will
like
be embarrassing yourself.
hat in hand. So it was just like that. I mean, that happens to us all the time. I mean, we've gotten kicked out of a venue for that very specific reason. I'm not going to say what it was. And I hit them back up yesterday just to I
Really?
don't know, see, we have nothing to lose. But
I know what you're talking about.
this venue person came up to us after the fact and was just like, you tried to pull a fast one on this. And I was like,
And,
really
and all
polite
of
with
us were
them.
standing there. So
I let that happen a couple times, and then by like the 3rd time when that person said it to me, I was like, listen, it was in the contract that it was in the proposal that I sent you, like this range of people, and we're not even at that range. So you guys certainly underestimated us and the amount of people that you think that you can hold here.
Right.
Like, and that was in front of their boss.
Yeah, we can prove our numbers, right? Like there have been times when they try to say you have 8,000 people here. I'm like, no, dude,
No, we
there's
didn't.
not 8,000 people. And also it tends to work out like 55% of people who come is how many cars we have. So basically for every 100 people, there's like 55 cars or 45 cars. That's the way that the math works out. But they just don't want to hear it. But we, everyone buys through like a ticketing app. We have very traceable ways to show you who is here, and then people want to fight with us about it. It's like, okay, you were not ready for this. Who's here? If a vendor pays attention to their email, if they there's no reason why a vendor who really wants to vend, if they've been approved, can vend. Mm-hmm. It's the people who don't check their email for 3 days and then all of a sudden everything's full, filled up or, something, but generally any vendor who has gotten approved and wants to vend can vend if they pay attention to their email. I just feel like it's never that I put out a sign up and then 10 minutes later it's full. It never happens that way. It always takes 36 hours, I would say, is the shortest a fair has ever filled up. So
we will know by the time this airs, but I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think it's going to fill up within an hour.
Well, because we have more vetted ones.
Yeah.
But also a lot of vendors go just in their own areas. So I feel that we have a healthy mix of north and south for this year.
Yeah.
So I think that that's going to kind of leave more spots too. Like the north people tend to stick to the north and the south tend to stick to the south. And then you have crazy people, the socias and the greasers, who go to all of the fairs. I just read that book with
so funny.
My 8th grader. He just had to read, The Outsiders. So, but anyway, yeah. And then you have the vendors that go to every single one, regardless of where they are. But, I feel that having it in those different locations more than just everything in North Jersey kind of does have some vendors that go to North and some that go to South.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's going to be like that and not a bloodbath, but we'll see.
Also hope it'll be a bloodbath.
I don't hope. I have a feeling it will be, but we'll have a nice long wait list and see how it goes.
Full confession, I'm one of those vendors who sits by my email and just refreshes and refreshes, especially when it's sign-ups open at 6 p.m. So I'll be there at 5:58. What inspired you to create Lunar Faire?
Well, just kind of the tarot thing, like we were saying, it was just, seeing that nothing like it really was in New Jersey. It didn't exist. There was no night markets in New Jersey. And we kind of just thought it would be something that could evolve into a little hangout and really, I mean, the scale we were talking about was a parking lot, a few vendors,
we were
a couple lights.
Hey, wouldn't it be cool if 500 people came?
Yeah. No, I think originally we were wouldn't it be cool if 100 people?
Yeah,
no.
Tiff was
can we get enough of our
least
friends?
Amount of vendors that won't make us look stupid and is
we were
15 okay, and then all of a sudden we had 40 something applicants and 600 people at the first
vendors
fair.
From somewhere.
Yeah, and then we ended up with 42.
The first day it was 42,
and 600 patrons came, and we were what? There's a line.
Initially, initially we were all we have to do is get 100 friends to come here and take pictures of 2 cute booths and people in front of them, and we'll just pack them all into one area. If they know us, they'll do what we say, and we'll just get really cute promo pictures. That was the goal of the first one: was get promo pictures, and then really advertise the second one. We didn't have to do any of that.
No, nothing. Everyone did it.
The crowds, it was full. It was crazy. It was crazy.
The residents were can you not get in my driveway? Thank you.
Yeah.
It was hard. That whole fair was hard. It was just in sand. Now.
It was quite a grind.
And we literally bought out Costco soda. So we were carrying, we overestimated the amount of soda we would sell.
For some reason, that's what we really loaded up.
We bought a whole season's worth of soda in June.
Pellets.
And
why?
And then
continue to carry them back and forth for some reason.
It
was
so
for
bad at
4 fairs until I'm no.
We have
not
to stop
only
this.
putting them in the truck, taking
No,
them on and off the truck.
and walking
My
across
hair
the
is
beach.
just thinking
'Cause
about
the
this.
first time we put our like potions lab in one section, and then we're like, next time it needs to be across the beach. So, it was even
That's
farther
true.
from the
So
entrance.
My
It was insane.
one of my older kids, Zachary, I guess he was like 20 at the time, but him and his friend Ethan were like just carrying all these cases of soda and like our tents and everything just like across the beach. Like
We're just like
the sand was like
melted puddles. of
very
people.
cool for like the look of the fair, but for the practicality of moving things
No.
across it, it was just torture. The whole thing was torture.
Do you remember the first thing you ever bought at the fair?
I didn't buy anything.
Really?
Not
I
that
got
first
away
fair.
for 1 second, and I bought Brielle's
Yes. I
pink
remember.
cauldron candle,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's so heavy." It's like actual like.
It's an actual cauldron. Yes.
But that's
That
my
first
little
fair,
fun
I didn't
thing.
have I was also
Tiffany was recovering from
from
surgery. I was like, you have to
hysterectomy.
sit down. Yeah.
So I couldn't really walk around. I was like, they're like, can you just like sell some merch? I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
She
buy these
literally had
bags
a,
of
she
weight.
literally had a hysterectomy like 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it
Oh,
was
geez.
like
Oh,
I like actual like
I
2
could do
days.
this. It's
Like
fine.
it was crazy.
Her face was pale.
She had
Yeah.
white
She was like
lips.
Yeah.
sweating. I'm
It
like,
was
you need water and to sit.
Bad. It's not great.
She
I'm
should-
not doing well.
She shouldn't have. I mean, she had no choice, but it was like that was an intense day.
I told the doctor, and I was just like, in 2 weeks, I'm like having this event, and they're like, no, you shouldn't. I was like, well, do a good job because I'm going. But you know what? One of the first things I remember about that first fair that really kind of, it's something I'll never forget. It's like a soundbite in my head. I was standing kind of by the front, and we had this like the entrance where you come in. It's like it's a little tunnel. It's like dark, and you on the other side you make a left, and then you see the beach. You didn't go through the tunnel, I'm sure.
No, I
because
didn't.
you had to pay to get in.
I went through I pulled the chain.
You don't know anything about that.
She took her photo stick right over the fence.
She actually swam up from the other side of the beach. Worth it.
She made friends with people in Oakland just so she could swim across Crystal Lake.
I'll not pay $5 suggested donation price. So
She's like, I should never have said that.
I know.
Kryssy is never topping this.
Hey,
just so you know.
I'm most grateful that you've given us a new walkie-talkie code. There's a couple Lindsays over there.
Lindsay's 12 o'clock.
Get 'em.
So there you have it, folks. If you try to sneak in a Lunar Faire, you're going to get called a Lindsay.
Oh, that's great.
Well, what were you
yeah.
saying?
So you turn left, and then the fair kind of opens up a little. You see a full view of the beach, and we had the letters placed on the beach. Like we have our signature giant wooden letters that say Lunar Faire. And it was really a cool view for when you first came into the fair. It was like a great placement. And then I'm just standing there kind of like looking at the vendors around, looking at the like snack bar area and the beach. And this girl walks up and she's like, this is so aesthetic, as she's filming it. And I was just like, we did it. This is perfect. Here we are.
Yeah.
And that like stuck with me forever. I was just like, oh my God, this is so like photographable and the vibe is good. And this is perfect.
We did it.
It's fucking perfect.
We did it, guys.
You got this.
And now we're
Please go.
in our 5th master year.
Yes. Now we've matriculated.
Fifth house year. It's all
Yeah.
about playfulness, drama, daring, going outside your comfort zone.
Uh-oh, Cal.
So,
Don't tell Kelly.
This is the best thing
Okay.
I've ever heard.
Out of our
I am
comfort zone, yes.
a Taurus and a Taurus, okay? Not only do I present as a Taurus, what I need in my life to live are Arcturian things. That's just me. I'm sorry.
Wait, do you remember your first purchase or no?
I don't remember. I know, because everything was just so hectic. It was just like
Yeah, it was a
everything was
lot,
hectic.
yeah.
I mean,
I feel like that was the only time I got to shop. And then for like months after, I was like, oh, maybe I could venture out. Please. Grab one thing from one person.
no. Same. I think that was certainly my first time shopping and the only time I ever went as just an attendee. My first thing I bought a necklace. It's with like a metal plate that kind of looks like a dog tag, but it's all the phases of the moon. I know you've mentioned, Tiff, that you read tarot.
Mhm.
Do either of you guys read tarot?
No, I do not.
Oh.
I like to have my tarot read, but I don't. I just really started delving in more to like the witchy aspect of it. Like I've always been like a spiritual person, and I was raised Catholic, and that leaves you questioning everything in life once you realize like how fucked up Catholic people are. No offense to any Catholic people listening. It's just how I feel about it. But, so I've always kind of like been looking for the thing. But I guess really more like over the last couple of years, I've been delving more into like the structure of like, a witchy practice and like the phases of the moon and how all those things like affect everything. Like I've always been into like the astrology aspect of it, but they're two completely like different things. So I feel that like one of the purposes of the fair for me is my growth in that way has really like encouraged me to like look into that kind of stuff more, especially like over the seasons when it's like wintertime and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do for 6 months?
It's actually really funny because our detractors are like, this fair isn't even made by witches who know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like, yeah, we made this fair not really knowing that much, hoping we could learn more. Like, what's your fucking point?
Yeah.
Okay. Never said we were.
have you learned more?
Oh,
has
yeah,
it played a-
of course. Absolutely. I mean, like, I've been taking classes with Lorraine forever. Lorraine is the Lunar Queen who does all like the energy setting. She's kind of like, she's like in charge of all the energy and the witchy stuff of the fair. And, I've always been like energetically inclined without like, I'm more of a chaos witch for sure. And like a word witch. And so I've never had a formal ritualistic practice or anything like that. But yeah, magic has followed me around, for sure. Like I get things done and make it happen without knowing why or whatever, and like never really felt like too inclined to figure that out until now. It's just like nice to see like I really like correspondences, and I like, if you're trying to do this one thing, add these herbs and add this, and you can add this on this day. Like that is very interesting. I like looking at it like a recipe. Maybe that's more like the Virgo, part of it. But like that I've learned a lot about, and that's really cool. I mean, you kind of can't help but learn a lot like doing this. Like,
I mean, I have to say the spells over the winter,
Yeah.
I think, teach me the most.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really get to see the spell a lot during the actual fair.
Yeah.
Maybe ever.
Yeah,
But-
because it's like right after opening and everything's crazy and,
Yeah.
like...
But
we're
the
just
winter
going
ones are
nuts.
more intimate, and
Yeah.
you really get to like hear Lorraine and just do the thing, and they all just like work. It's crazy. So I think the spell work's my favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and so I guess you're learning by immersion, like
Yeah.
quite
Yes.
literally.
Yeah.
It's like, guess what? We're dipping into this.
Yes,
So.
exactly.
Yeah. Very cool. So what are some of your favorite decks?
I guess practically I'm not a super like buy a million decks and try them all. Like I like just like zoning into the Rider-Waite Smith because it's just like that's the one I like broke in on, and it's just like I know it, and like I guess for me it's just like I will buy decks and I'm just like I like looking at these are nice, but I don't use them, which is not great, but I guess good for the artist. But I tried doing tote for a while. Like when I was doing it on Instagram, I did Rider-Waite Smith pull a card a day, and I would write like a whole caption on them, and like it was so much fun. I love doing it every day. Like having a writing practice every day was amazing, and I miss it. This is not a plug because I haven't used that Instagram in like 4 years, so don't try to find it if you want any new information. But it like you just dial in. If you're working with a deck every single day, like it just feels like it's useless for me to use a different deck because I spent so much time with that one. So I mean, I tried to do the tote deck with that, and the writing wasn't as good. I wasn't as tapped into it, and so I was just like, just don't broke what ain't fixed.
Yeah, I have
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah,
I do. I have a couple of favorites. I love the Pasta Tarot, which I should have brought to if you guys
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
What is that?
It's literally all pasta. So if you
Oh my
look it
God.
up, it's so much fun. It's all like just different pasta shapes, and like each suit is a different category of
That's cool.
pastas. So like the cups are stuffed pastas, so like your tortellinis and your raviolis.
Oh my God,
Um,
that's
Wow.
so funny.
yeah, the swords
Rouse
are
would be proud.
so and like your swords are long pastas, so it's fettuccine, spaghetti, that
Angel hair.
So, yeah, and
Oh,
just
It's actually
as,
cute.
and just as a tarot reader and person from New Jersey, I was
Yeah.
like, when I saw that deck, I actually backed it on Kickstarter. I was like, yes, send it to me.
Yeah.
I don't use it a ton because in my experience reading for people would prefer to read with a like a more traditional looking deck, like a Rider-Waite-Smith or even like a Morgan Greer or something that's like a little off, but not wild. Like they don't want to hear about like the 10 of spaghetti.
Yeah, so
Right.
I was gonna say like
Yeah.
the 3 of angel hair.
Yeah.
Nobody's interested in that.
And it's like I like it, but I've noticed
Yeah.
like the more I guess more in the tarot world someone is, the more they like the silly decks
Right.
versus like
Yeah.
people who aren't really well versed in
I
that.
feel
want you
like
to feel
it's
like
easier-
professional in a way,
And it's
Yeah.
easier
like-
for you to like transfer what they mean from deck to deck because you know
Yeah.
so much about it, where other like more of like a lay person doesn't have that, advantage.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
maybe like the 5 of rigatoni. What am I supposed to do?
That's so funny.
Eat it.
Another one of my favorite decks, actually, I got at Lunar Faire, the Star String Tarot. So Eliza Kingsford,
yes.
which
Amazing.
yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like to
those are gorgeous.
Yeah, I have them, and yeah, it's kind of we did like a thing. I think it was at one of the Burlington fairs. I'd read people with the deck and be like, "Hey, do you like this deck? She's over there. Go get stuff from her." And then if someone bought the deck, they'd be like, "Hey, you want to get a reading with that deck? Go over to OMG Tarot."
that's so
She's-
smart.
And it was like a
That's
fun
good
like
idea.
cross promo.
Yeah, that's cute.
But yeah, it's such a cool deck.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll hit her
Moonstruck
up
has a beautiful
tonight.
deck too. Moonstruck Crystals. She's one of
I
our
think it-
vendors.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's really pretty. She was a camp sacker, and she does. You can look it up. She does like a really like it's like reflective, super colorful.
Ooh, that sounds
It's really pretty.
Almost
and
hologram.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Yep. She's got a cool Instagram. She does a lot of like how she got into what she was. She also was like corporate and quit her job. So
Is it not Moonstruck NJ? Oh, Moonstruck Crystals. There we
Yeah.
go. How am I not following her already? All right. Well,
yeah, she's like got so much going on. She's a little too busy to vend with us, but she does when she can, and she's really sweet.
oh wow, we only have 48 mutuals.
That's funny. Oh, another deck I really also like is a sex worker deck by Exotic Cancer.
Mhm.
It's gorgeous. It's like pink metallic. It's absolutely beautiful. That's a really cool deck too. You can't really bust it out all the time because it's like a lot of
X-rated.
it's X-rated, but it's cool. It's like
Sex-
all drawn though.
Sex-rated.
Sex-rated. Yeah.
Yeah, and that too. There are certain decks that I bust out for certain types of events,
Yeah.
and other ones like no. Like
Yeah.
if it's a lot more family friendly, I have a really cute dog and cat deck.
Oh,
And it's adorable, and it's like if I read for a kid, they're gonna see like the cute. Oh, the 8 of puppies. Oh, like aw.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
adorable.
That is very
What's
cute.
the 10 of swords like in that deck?
But I feel like it's
stabbing puppies.
I feel like it's like a cat with all its claws like out like this. Like
All right.
I like it.
So
Okay.
that
makes
makes
sense.
sense. Yes.
It's
That's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah.
What are some of your goals for a Lunar Faire?
I mean, we kind of don't really do goals and stuff. Maybe we should, but we're not really
Goals.
businessy.
Goals.
I don't know if you got that
Fuck
from
our
us.
goals. I feel like it's just community, like having more
Yeah.
people. I think we all need community right now more than fucking
Yeah.
ever. So having a safe place,
Yeah.
kind of to come to. and-
Also, like, just the whole like stability aspect of it. I just want the fair to be stable. I want us to be, which I guess is like the Taurus in me, but I want, I feel, that would make me.
We
like,
wanna
the
stick around.
happiest. Yeah.
Not to
Has
get
to
murdered by
be-
Republicans.
yeah.
would be
Well,
cool.
yeah, there's that, but that's asking a lot.
It is in 2025.
But just like just to like be a stable place where people can count on us, where we can count on the fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, like we did like George last year, and that was kind of like, maybe not the best timing or,
It
whatever.
had its ups and downs.
Yeah.
It wasn't the
yeah.
highest population fair, but I think
Yeah.
everybody really enjoyed the trip.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was, a great time. But, I feel like every year there's always like one thing that kind of doesn't go the way that we think it's going to go. So I'm hoping that this season, my plan is that
Can't all be bangers.
That doesn't happen.
yeah, that we don't have that one thing this year. I would just like everything to be smooth and stable, and
That's where I come in. And ruin their lives.
or I come in and ruin your life.
Yes,
Either way,
yeah,
we are sister
yeah.
signs. So that's our balance here. But
I mean, I like the idea of expansion too, but it's got its complications, and so we'll see on that front how easy or difficult it would be to move. A lot of people ask us about that. That's why it's like there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And that's the thing. I don't think that people always can necessarily, you look at the finished product and you're like, yeah, I could do that. But when it comes to actually doing it, there is so much goes into it, from the time that Tiff posts something to the time that we're, pulling out of the fair, like with the Penske at the end of the night. Like, so many things happen in between there that I don't necessarily think people have any idea of. But
yeah,
complete chaos.
We're just finally getting, like, not finally getting, but like, I feel like each year we, improve our processes from the previous year. So that is a goal also. I feel like just always getting better at everything than we were the last year.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you'd like to share?
I don't know. I feel like we talked all about it a lot. I hope everyone enjoyed hearing our crazy stories.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I can't say enough times how blessed I feel to be in this,
Definitely.
position. Like, everything that we do is contingent on everything that everyone else does. The people showing up, the vendors, selling the things. Like, we all survive together. And I just feel like very lucky to be in the mix of all the things.
The fact that you even want to talk to us about anything.
Yeah, that's like amazing. So
it's cool.
Yeah, I was really, really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
It's fun to just sit down and chat.
Yes.
If the listeners want to find you, where can they find you on social media, online, IRL?
They can find me nowhere. No, they can find the fair at Lunar Faire.
LunarFaire.com. We're on all major socials, and we do have a Patreon that is where kind of we put our information first, so it's like you don't have to rely on the social algorithm to feed you information. Patreon.com/Lunar Faire, and even free memberships have the information that you're looking for. Some of the paid memberships get information first, but all the free Patreon members will get, I think it's a little cleaner because you'll get notified. You can select to get an email if you want, and then you can get easy updates that are a lot more effective than social media. And now Lindsay is going to teach me how to do a really good email, so you can join our email list, which is at the bottom of our lunarfaire.com website. So
yeah.
Those are all the ways.
And in real life, you can find us April 27th at the East Freehold Showgrounds. We'll be there.
And every 2 weeks after that.
5 to 10.
Yeah.
Yep. Every other weekend.
And just note that's fair with an E at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to double check. So.
Yeah, no, I say that all the time in my email. And the obligatory, don't forget the E at the end of fair. And if you really want to find me in real life, I'm in Pennsylvania. So there. Good luck.
When we're in Boone.
So are you excited about fair season? Join us April 27th at the East Freehold Fairgrounds for the first Lunar Faire of 2025. And if you want to save 15% on your tickets, use the promo code LUNAR01 when you buy them at lunarfaire.com. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Lunar Faire like I did, because I've been vending there for a while, but there were a lot of things I didn't know, so it was really awesome to sit down with Lunar Chicks and really pick their brains and see what it's like to be at the helm of the fair. As a reminder, you can follow Lunar Faire on Instagram or TikTok, where their handle is Lunar, LUNAR FAIRE, Lunar Faire. That's fair with an E at the end. And you can sign up for their Patreon over at lunarfaire.com. And of course, if you want to give me a follow, my handle on Instagram is its_OMG_tarot. And over on TikTok, because I'm trying to revive that, it's just one word, OMG Tarot. I also have a YouTube channel that doesn't have much on it, but slowly but surely, that will be changing. So, alrighty, thanks again for listening. It's been fun, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.